Well, welcome to June. Hi, this is Roger Harmon with GoFor Technology, where we help you make the technology work for you instead of the other way around. So it's June here in Tucson, where the weather forecast is extreme heat warning, high fire danger, and rain. Kind of a trifecta. So that's summer in Tucson. So we're enjoying it. So I'm glad that you were able to join us. As I noted in the comments, there is a delay on YouTube between when you put a comment in and when I see it. I timed it as we were getting ready to go, and the delay is about 38 seconds. So be patient. I'm not ignoring you if you have a comment. So if you're here, say hi. Let me know that you're watching. I've got it up on my iPad over here to see if I can see the comments. That's kind of an experiment. Not sure exactly how that works. So, as I travel around the Tri-County area, which is Pima, Santa Cruz, and Pinal counties, I find kind of an issue that is constant, and that is your downloads folder is unkempt. The word of the day. So I am going to talk about that today. So we're going to use the downloads folder as an example of how some of the features of the Finder, which is an essential part of your Mac operating system, works. So by cleaning out our downloads folder, you'll be able to see some of the things that you can do with the Finder that maybe you didn't know about. So, hi Carolyn. Glad to see you here again too. Okay, she's got her note-taking equipment ready, so we're going to give you something to write down here. Okay, so let's talk about the downloads folder. How do things get into the downloads folder? Well, there's several different ways. So number one is you download things into the download folder, right? You download a program, you download maybe a video, a little music, maybe some kind of a webinar or seminar, audio file. So that's one way that things get into your downloads folder. The second way is that anything that is in your mail app, an attachment, so it could be a photograph somebody sent you, from a family event. Sometimes even if a company puts a logo in there, you'll find those in the download folder. So attachments to a mail message, an email message, automatically go into that download folder. So that's why you open up your downloads folder and you discover, look, all this stuff is in here. Where did it come from? And of course, those are basically the two ways. You put them in there by downloading something, or they come in through an attachment to a mail message. So let's jump right in here to the download folder. So there's a place that I haven't been to for a long time. So we're going to go here in the Finder, so you can see up here in the upper right hand corner, next to the Apple logo, it says Finder. So we're in the Finder. And then if we go over to the right, you see the word Go. Well, hi, Philip Davis, Phil and Phyllis. And when you click on Go, you get lots of choices. So we're going to click on Go, and you see all these choices here. You can see that's how you get to your applications. It's a major mystery of life how come applications is so far down in that drop-down menu, but that's where it is. So if we slide up here to downloads, that opens the downloads folder. Simple as that. So here is an unkempt downloads folder. Now I wish I could say that I made this unkempt just for today, but that would not be true, and I don't lie. So this is something that I am not keeping up with as much as I can, getting scam calls on Skype here as we go. So here we have our download folder. So how do we sort out our download folder? And the ultimate goal is to have nothing, nada, in the download folder. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to demonstrate some of the features. So here's one feature right here. So you see there's a bunch of space here between the name and the date modified. So if we move our cursor over to a very, very thin, hardly visible line between those two columns, we can adjust that space. So you see the cursor up there at the top has a vertical line and then two opposing arrows. So we just drag this right over so things are nice and tidy, and we can see the different labels up here. So we have a label. First is name. So if we look down here, we can see that this is actually alphabetical, starting with numbers and then sorting through the alphabetical sort there by the first letter. The next column is date modified, followed by the size of the document or folder. And then the last one we have showing here is kind. Now, there are other options, so we're not going to cover that today, but you can have other columns of information here. So we kind of go through this in several different sequences. The first sequence is to sort by kind. So to sort by kind, we simply click on kind. So now look at this before we do it. You see we have some PDF documents here. We have some down here in the middle, and we have some other types or kinds in this case of documents. So when we click on kind up here at the top, the label, then now all these different kinds of documents are grouped together. So now we can go in and get rid of the obvious stuff that we don't have to think about. So when you download something from the internet, it comes in a compressed file. Okay, so it's compressed to save space. But when you decompress it, in other words, to open up the app or whatever it was that was compressed, it creates a whole nother file. So now we've got two files. We don't need the first one. That's the compressed file. So we're going to go through here and look for compressed files. So the first thing we see here is something called a .dmg. So you see the suffix over here at the end of this file name is .dmg. And that stands for Apple Disk Image File. Sorry, the letters don't quite work there, but that's what it stands for. So now what we're going to do is use another feature of the Finder. We're going to click on the first disk image file. Now in this case it doesn't really work, but we'll demonstrate that in a second. So now, since there's only two, we're going to hold down the command key. So the command key, of course, is on either side of the space bar. Hold down the command key, and we're going to click on the second one. Now we're going to hold down the command key once again and go up to the delete key in the upper right hand corner of your keyboard, and that is your keyboard shortcut to put these in the trash. Bam, they are gone. Okay, here's another kind of a file type that you can get rid of. So an ICS file, so again the suffix here is .ics, which is a iCal calendar file. So that's something that somebody sent you as an invitation or an appointment. So a lot of times people aren't even aware that these are here, but when you're in your calendar, up in the top right, top left of your calendar screen, you'll see a little window if somebody is inviting you, and there'll be a number there depending on how many invitations you have. So if you click on that, then you can accept it, and it'll automatically add into your calendar. So that's what an ICS file is. But when we look here at the dates on these ICS files, we can see that except for today at 11:03, which is past, that these are all gone. So not much I can do about it if I didn't go. So here we're going to demonstrate another way to select a group of files. Again, a feature of the Finder. So we click on the bottom or the top. You can start at either the top or the bottom. We go to the other end, in this case the top. This time we're going to hold down the Shift key and click on the mouse or the trackpad, depending on what device you're using. And we select everything in between. Again, we go to our keyboard shortcut of Command Delete, and those are gone. Now, I wish I could tell you why the spacing of the columns changed when we did that, but I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to go look for some more obvious things to get rid of. So as we look through here, so a CSV is a spreadsheet that stands for column column separated values. So that's a standard spreadsheet format that can be opened by any spreadsheet. We see a document, we see a flash file, we see a couple of images here, some more images of different format. Well, look, what is this? It says installer package. Now if we spread this out here a little bit by again putting our cursor up and dragging it over to the right so we can read the entire kind description. So now we can say this says installer package. So that's again another kind of compressed file. So we've got basically 4 basic kinds that you're going to run across. A package, which is what we're looking at here, the DMG that we looked at before, a zip, which we probably don't have any in this example. We don't. So you could also have a zip, which is another way of compressing files, and then the ICS, the calendar invitation, which you can get rid of if it's out of date. So now we're going to just click on that one. Again, Command Delete is that keyboard shortcut to put it in the trash, and it's gone. Okay, so now what do we do with all these other files? So the next pass that I like to do is to sort by date modified. So you can see here we have a column label called date modified. So right now the dates are all over the place. You see we got February 27th at the bottom of this year. We've got February 20th of this year near the top. But if we click on date modified, as if by magic, they're now in chronological order with the most recent being at the top. Now, you see this little upside down caret, which Apple calls arrows. You see that right there to the right of date modified. So we click on that. Now, the oldest file is at the top. So another way to get rid of things in your downloads folder is to just look at the things that are really old. Now, I have been cleaning out my downloads folder, so I don't have anything that's really old, but some of you have things that are, like I was at a client recently, and they had things from 2014. So we're not going to name any names because actually I don't even remember who it was. But anyway, you may find that you've got really old stuff in here. So you can kind of just do a cursory look at the name of the file over here in the first column, and probably you can just delete those just because they're so old. If you got things that are back, 2014 or earlier. Of course, you want to double check on pictures. Make sure you're not losing any valuable family photos that you haven't put into your Photos app. Okay, so we are going to look at these. So I've got one here from 2017. So now, how do you figure out what these files are? So the Finder, again, has a feature called QuickLook. So if we right-click, we get what is called a contextual memory. And, come on. Oh, okay, I guess I have to hold it down. I thought it should stay here. Right-click. There it goes. So if you move down here, you will see QuickLook right down here. But you don't have to right-click to get QuickLook to activate. You can simply highlight the file and tap your space bar, and you'll get a QuickLook on most files. Not all files, but most files. So we're going to get out of this menu. So here we're going to look at this file called Reports Book. We don't know what it is, except for it is a PDF file. We tap the space bar and it shows us what that is. Okay, so we can decide whether we want to look at that or not. So then we can use our arrow keys, our up and down arrow keys on the lower right hand corner of our keyboard, and navigate and look at the next one. So I just hit the up arrow and got a PDF here on how I can make $24,000 a year in instant income. So unfortunately I haven't read that yet. So you can go through these and just use your arrow key, and as you get to one that you want to delete, you don't even have to leave the QuickLook. You can go to Command Delete from right here and get rid of it, and then of course it'll automatically go to the next one. How do you get out of QuickLook, you may ask? Well, hi Barbara, good to see you here. Okay, so Barbara says that my voice has a strange stutter. Okay, it's back to normal. Thanks, Barbara. So that could be because I'm running my iPad here, which is timed out, and I'm running, using a lot of bandwidth. So thanks for letting me know about that, Barbara. I appreciate that. So now, if I touch my space bar, it'll get out of QuickLook and go back to the regular view. So what are we going to do with all these things that are in the downloads folder but don't belong in the downloads folder? So here's what we could do. We could go up to File. So this is another Finder feature. And we could click right here at the top on New Finder Window. Or, so we'll do that right now. And things are going a little slow here because I've got a lot of horsepower going on here. A lot of resources on my little 2013 MacBook Pro. And so I'm going to resize these windows so that they're side by each. So there's that window. We're going to grab it here on the right or the left side, make it about half. We're going to resize this window by dragging it, so you can only move it when you're in the very top here, right up where the title is, but you can resize it from almost any side or corner, top or bottom. Okay, so now here we have my users. So I want to go into my home folder, which is GoFor Tech. Double click on that, and then I want to go into my documents folder, double click on that, and now I have my documents. So you can see we have different folders in here so that I can categorize things, organize things. So that way you can have your documents folder open, so when you find something that you want to keep, then you would just click once to select this window. You see how that window highlighted, and then you would just drag that over. Now, one caveat here, do not drag it on top of a folder if you do not want it to go inside that folder. So you see, I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to drag it over and see when I get here to a file it's just going to drop in. Okay, so you see this is sorted by alphabetical by name, so there it is in the C's right there. So everybody follow that? So then here's another PDF. So this is a document. So I click in the right window, the downloads window, once to select it, and you always want to click on the icon, not on the name, because when it clicks on the name, the Finder thinks you want to change the name. So you see this one starts with a U, so we release it, and there it is at the bottom, alphabetical. So is everybody understanding how to clean out your downloads folder? So if you have a picture, which I don't seem to have any pictures. Well, here, let's talk about this. So here's a file that the kind is called a V card. So a V card is a standard format between Windows and Mac for people's contact information. So again, if I want to do a quick look here, I just tap the space bar and QuickLook pops up, and we'll find out that this is a V card, which is the contact information from somebody from a company called Docscapes. And so if I wanted to add this to my contacts, you see up here at the top, I could just add that to my contacts. So that's where V cards would go, is in your contacts. So we'll just add that to the contacts. And so once it's added to the contacts, then we don't need it here in the downloads folder. And you can see here the contacts popped up here in the background. So it says, are you sure you want to import one card? But, oh, look, this is a duplicate, and it will be updated. So I had already imported that card. So again, the Finder is looking out for you by not importing things twice. So here I can review the duplicate. So I click on that, and so now it says it's updated. Now that card was identical, so I'm not sure why it was updated. So now we can click here on import, and we're done. And so we're going to quit contacts by using our keyboard shortcut, which is Command Q for quit. And contacts is out of here. So again, I'm getting the beach ball because I'm doing so many things at once. So here's another kind of a file that you might see. So this is an MP3, which is an audio format. This is actually the music that plays at the beginning and the end of my YouTube Live. And so I keep it, well, actually I should put this somewhere where I can find it. So I'm going to go over here to my Documents folder, and I'm going to go to my GoFor Tech folder. And then I see right here, here's my notes that I'm actually reading as I do this. So that should be in my GoFor Tech folder. So I'm just going to drag that down on top of the GoFor Tech folder, and now it goes inside, and you can see that it disappeared. Now I'm going to double click on the GoFor Tech folder, and it will open up. And then I'm going to go back over here and click once to activate the downloads folder. So on the icon for Bright Eyes, which is the music file. So there it is, and then I'm just going to drag it over and let go, making sure I'm not on top of a folder. And there it is right there. So hopefully you're getting the idea of how to get things out of your downloads folder into your documents folder, and maybe even inside a folder in your documents folder so that it's organized. And of course, my best shortcut that I've ever taught you is Command Spacebar, which brings up Spotlight Search. So if you don't know where something is, so if we don't know where Bright Eyes went, of course it's right there, we know where it is. So let's say we're looking for Superplan, S-U-P-E-R, and Superior Water, Superplan. So you see here in Spotlight, it's found Superplan, found actually several Superplans. So if we double click on the icon, that will open up Superplan. And wait for it, it's coming. Okay, you can't see Superplan because it's on my other screen, but if I just drag it down here, there's a Superplan. So that is a whole nother course on how to be organized. So you notice that came up in preview. You remember from one of our previous live streams that preview is all you need. You don't need Adobe Reader. Preview does everything. Again, Command Q to get out of preview so we can save our resources. So hopefully that has helped you figure out how to go into your downloads folder and clean it out. Get rid of everything in there, either trash it or move it to where it belongs. It's better to back up things in your documents folder because that's where all the backup programs expect to find things that are backed up. So I do see some pictures down here. So I am going to talk about pictures. So here again, I'm in the downloads folder. I clicked on the icon, I hit the space bar for a quick look, and I can see what the picture is. So this picture is a background for a Zoom meeting for the Tucson Macintosh users group. Okay, so then I can hit the space bar again to get out of QuickLook. So I see that I've got 3 of these. So again, those should not be in the downloads folder. They should be in their own folder. So now I'm going to go back here to the left and use this back arrow. So it's kind of like going back in a browser. And go back to my documents folder. And now here's another little finder feature. You see I'm up here, the top is F's and the bottom is O's. But if I hit a T, as in Tucson, watch what happens. Look at that. It slides down to the first T, which happens to be Tascam. But if I don't go down here a little further, I found my TMUG folder. Well, these are TMUG backgrounds. So, of course, they belong in the TMUG folder. So I click on the top one, I hold down my Shift key, and click on the bottom one, and then I hold down my mouse or my trackpad, and this time I want them to go into a folder, so I'm going to take it right over the folder. You see how the folder highlights, if I can get it back there, and I let go, and it actually automatically opened the folder, and as you can see, those are now inside the folder. So hopefully that will help you do, as I've told many of you in person, your homework is to clean out your downloads folder. So your homework is to clean out your downloads folder. Okay, so get to work. All right, any questions before we end this 15-minute live stream that always lasts for a half hour? Well, thank you for coming. We have so how to go back, Phil and Phyllis want to know how to get back to the screen where the downloads folder is open, and to its left was the Finder folder. I think it was the Finder folder. Okay, so good question. They're all Finder folders. Okay, so we're going to go back to our screen. So I think I understand. So what I did to get to the Downloads folder originally is I went up here to Go. So Go is up here. So you can see we got the Apple logo. Then we see that we are in the Finder. Whatever it says here is the program that's, or application that's active. And then I go over to the fourth label here and click on Go. And that's how I got to the Downloads folder originally. Okay, so I click on that. Of course, the Downloads folder is already open right here on the right-hand side of the screen. Well, so it opened the Downloads folder here on the left-hand side. So now I could just switch this. So you see here on the left panel, we're on Downloads here, we're on Downloads on the left, on Downloads on the right. Everywhere it's Downloads, but we want to be different. So now I can simply reverse it by clicking on Documents here in the right window. So I click one time to get into the window, to select the window. I click the second time, and now I'm in Documents. So I can do exactly what we just did. It's only that we're going from Downloads on the left to Documents on the right, whereas we did it reversed. So Barbara, did that answer your question? Okay, so you put things that you want to save in Documents, which is exactly what you should be doing. Yes, you do need the Documents, the download folder. So the download folder is kind of like, it came with the computer. Okay, so it is not an option. It is part of the setup for the computer from the factory. And as I said before, that's automatically where things download when you download things from the internet. Number one. Number two, it is where attachments to your emails automatically go. So you do need to tend to your Documents folder because things are going in there whether you like it or not. That's just the way it is. So I hope that clarifies it for you, Barbara. And good. All right. Very good. So if there's no more questions, I would like to let you know that if you need help with your Zoom meetings or any other video streaming programs that you're participating in, how you can improve your video, your audio, or your background, I've got a little work to do here. Do as I say, not as I do. I can certainly help you with that. I'm taking several courses on that. So I've got a lot of information to help you. As always, this live stream will be archived in our YouTube channel, which is available in the GoFor Gazette, which comes out every Monday morning. So you can get that link in your previous issues of the GoFor Gazette. So we try to get those things. I try to trim them and get rid of the countdown timer at the beginning, so you don't have to watch that. And you can fast forward through a YouTube video if you have any questions about that. Let me know. We may put that into a GoFor tech briefing so that everybody knows how to move around inside of a YouTube video. So I am making house calls. As you saw in the GoFor Gazette, I have a mask. I have gloves right here in my pocket. So I can be socially isolated in that way with my personal protection equipment, and everybody will be fine. So if there's no other questions, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next week at high noon on Tuesday for GoFor Lunch. Have a great week. Adios.